Coming to you live from the campus of the University of Hawaii at Manoa and Simplify Arena at Stan Sheriff Center. It is semifinal coverage of the Outrigger Big West Men's Volleyball Championship presented by the Hawaiian Islands right here on Spectrum Sports. In our first semifinal, it will be 2-seed UC Santa Barbara taking on number 3 Long Beach State. The Beach able to get past UC Irvine in the opening round last night by way of a 3-set sweep. In the nightcap, it will be top-seeded Hawaii taking on UC San Diego. Aloha, everybody. Along with Lisa Strand, I'm Kanoa Leahy. And Lisa, these are two teams that met each other twice already this season. Actually, was the season opening weekend for Long Beach State. They would split a pair of matches, each winning on their own home floors in 4 sets. So this is, by virtue of that record, the rubber match, and it's on a neutral floor.
That's right. They're back at 0-0. The only true advantage here is that Long Beach State got the opportunity to play in the Simplify Arena at the Stan Sheriff last night. UC Santa Barbara, the Gauchos, got the bye into the tournament, rated number 2, and have not yet played here in the Simplify Arena.
Well, they're playing here in Honolulu, Hawaii, and you do have a Hawaii guy on either side of the net. Both Punahou alums, Ryan Wilcox for the Gauchos and Ethan Siegfried for the Beach.
Well, definitely Hawaii is well represented. Ryan Wilcox for UC Santa Barbara was the AVCA Newcomer of the Year and also Big West Freshman Player of the Year last year. Huge factor for their team, as well as Ethan Siegfried, a Punahou graduate for Long Beach State. He has really come on strong. He's had 7 starts this season, and he's just been getting better and better. A huge impact for his team as well.
Well, with that, let's take a look at the Kaiser Permanente keys to the match. What do you got, Lisa?
Well, for Long Beach State, they just want to clean up and apply. And trust me when I say that's exactly what they did last night after the sweep. They went home, they looked at things, they took some film, and that's what they're going to try to do tonight. For UC Santa Barbara, they're going to grind it out. This team is so defensive, it is almost scary. They have come to compete, and that's exactly what they're going to do.
Long Beach State coming in 7-4 overall now after last night's win. They went 6-4 to get the 3rd seed in the Big West Conference as you take a look at head coach Alan Knight. 18th season running the show, a 3-time AVCA Coach of the Year, and they are still, because of the COVID-shortened season last year, they're still the 2-time defending national champs, and they're looking to get back to the conference championship match for the 3rd time in 4 years as well.
Well, it's been a little while for them, of course, but Long Beach State has just been so well coached and well represented throughout the years with national championships and Olympians, All-Americans, everything. They are a team that knows how to compete and continues to get better now, especially that they have a healthy squad.
On the other side, you have UC Santa Barbara. They're 13-4 overall. They went 7-3. They finished 2nd in the conference. Rick Mclaughlin is in his 13th season atop the program. He feels like they picked up right where they left off last year. They were 14-2 at the time of the shutdown. They've also won 8 straight matches coming into this tournament, so reason for the Gauchos to feel pretty good right now.
And they do. You know, they got that bye last night. They got an extra night to sit back and watch and do a scouting report. And again, the Gauchos, incredibly defensive, ranked 3rd in the nation right now, but number 2 in the Big West Conference.
That's right. Gauchos number 3 in the AVCA poll. Long Beach State number 7. We mentioned they split the earlier 2 meetings, and so this is the rubber match, and it's on a neutral floor, and the winner goes to the conference title game. I mean, what more could you ask for here?
Well, I think there's just a little bit on the line. Definitely, the winner continues on to tomorrow's night championship match, of course. But these two teams, no stranger to one another throughout the years.
It was interesting because that weekend was the opening weekend for Long Beach State. They started a little later compared to a lot of the other conference teams. By the time they met that first night with UC Santa Barbara, the Gauchos had already played 7 matches, so they had that experience under their belt. And so there's really no telling what this matchup will look like, particularly when you're talking about playing it on a neutral site.
And they both run their systems completely different. Even though they both have 5-1 setters right now, the system on Santa Barbara is low and quick. They run a very quick tempo offense, whereas Long Beach State tends to go high outside. completely different offenses on both sides of the net.
You know, Alan Knipe even talked about the difference between the matchup last night. They pulled off the sweep to advance, defeating UC Irvine. He says, hey, Irvine and Santa Barbara, two completely different animals, and so we have to switch gears. We have to reshape and recalibrate our mindset here for what's going to be across the net in the semifinal round.
And it was a quick turnaround when you really think about it. Even though they got out of here at 1 hour and 45 minutes and got something to eat, checked out film and whatnot, it's a quick turnaround, and making these adjustments in this shortened season really amplifies how quickly the players have to adapt.
We are going to be treated to some top-level collegiate volleyball here this evening. Again, Hawaii will take on UC San Diego in the nightcap for the final spot in the championship match tomorrow. But it is Santa Barbara and Long Beach State, a long-standing rivalry. This is the 98th meeting between these two programs. Long Beach State leads the all-time series 56-41, but it will be UCSB to serve first, and Randy DeWeese, their top hitter, averaging over 4 kills per set, 6'6" senior from Sacramento, California. His brother Ryan saw his season with CSUN come to an end last night after falling to UC San Diego, and the first serve from Randy goes long. So perhaps a little pumped up here. Remember, they had the bye, so this is their first action here this week, and it is quickly 1-0 Beach. Clark Godbold, the freshman, with the serve for Long Beach State. And UCSB goes back to DeWeese. Not sure if that got above the tape or not, but the block appeared to be there for Long Beach State anyway. Ethan Siegfried was up, and it is quickly 2-0.
And DeWeese, maybe a lot of energy there. He has been one of their go-to guys at 6'6" and one of the leaders of the team. See if he settles down just a little here. 2 serving 0. And that middle set off target. It was Ryan Wilcox on the outside just trying to salvage that mishap. And so it is 3-0 Long Beach State. And if you're the Beach, you're very happy about the way this opening frame is starting up. That's exactly what you want to do. Jump out and get on them quickly. Playing catch-up in this side-out scoring is no fun.
Godbold gives them their first point, though, with the serve into the net.
You got to imagine both teams, there's a lot of energy going on. They've had a little bit of time to sit back, relax, and just look at film. So coming into this matchup, it may take a bit for them to settle in.
Well, here's one of the guys we highlighted in the open, Ryan Wilcox, sophomore out of Punahou. And look at that serve, creeps over the net. And so Mason Briggs, the libero, sets up the other Punahou alum on the other side of the net, Ethan Siegfried, who goes off the block and out. It's interesting. Their numbers are similar. Their roles are similar.
They're very similar. The only thing that's a little bit different is that Siegfried is a senior now, and Wilcox is only a sophomore. Both standouts at Punahou High School.
And that's a service ace from Siegfried, like he knew we were talking about him or something.
Yeah, his serving has really come on. He's always been incredibly effective from the back court, the service line. Last night he had 2 aces that were critical in their win.
Yeah, that's his 18th service ace of the season. That's tops on the team. Had 10 kills with a pair of aces, hit .444 in the win last night versus Irvine. Here's DeWeese from behind the line, and that was hard and heavy, and he took a few extra moments to stare through the twine, setting a tone here as far as the vibe for this first semifinal.
He's got the eye of the tiger, that's for sure. One of the seniors, again, at 6'6", been the go-to guy, and they're going to continue to set Randy DeWeese.
So here is Keenan Sanders with the serve for Santa Barbara. Outside set goes to Spencer Olivier. Team leader in kills for the Beach, averaging just under 4 per set. Had 18 kills, hit .424 last night.
Yeah, he really took on a huge role for his team offensively last night. Swinging away, giving all the credit to Aiden Knipe, saying, he really opened up by setting the middles first and then set me. He gets the credit, not me.
Santa Barbara out of system. DeWeese is blocked. That looked like Holdaway jumping up next to Olivier, and they turned DeWeese away.
Yeah, DeWeese, he's hungry. And there is a little bit of a sense of an urgency here for both of these teams. They know that in the semifinals, whoever wins this match obviously goes on to the finals, but also the opportunity to go to the NCAA, to the tournament.
Tough serve by Simone Anderson, and so Long Beach State with the advantage. They go middle to hold away, and just was able to get enough of the fingertips on there to nudge it over the block and down. And so Long Beach State up by 6 here early, and they look like the team that was just a little more ready to get things started.
Well, UCSB just seems a little out of system. They had a couple of unforced errors to start out this match, and they haven't really caught up with themselves, actually.
Pass there by Ryan Pexock, the libero for the Gauchos, but the block is up, and it is stout. Wilcox is turned back, and it's hold away again in the midst of the action, and that prompts a Gauchos timeout. Look at this score in the opening frame. This Spectrum Sports telecast of the 2021 Big West Men's Volleyball Tournament is sponsored by Bank of Hawaii. Well, Long Beach State, pretty sharp and formidable on the block last night versus Irvine. 7.5 total team blocks in the match, and they start where they left off here against UCSB.
It's a huge impact when you see them blocking, shutting down UC Santa Barbara. Momentum definitely on their side of the net.
Long Beach State appears to have arrived in the islands with a certain edge about them, as if they're turning up the knob. This being the postseason, and the Beach being a program that has a history of success in the postseason, especially recently as that serve out of the timeout goes wide off the palm of Anderson. And so a successful timeout, you can call it there, for Rick Mclaughlin, as the Gauchos now trail 3 serving 9. Casey McGarry, one of a lot of seniors on this roster. They brought just about everybody back from last year, and they are senior heavy. The starting setter, All-American from a year ago with the serve, but Long Beach State gets the point right back.
And Long Beach State, when they pass, and they're what we call in system, tend to go to their middle a lot, and their middles have been highly successful. Shane hold away there. You take a look at the 6'8" player.
On the outside, that was DeWeese blocked back. Backside set. It was a one-on-one matchup for Henry Hancock, but he didn't get it above the tape. Henry Hancock, who has been trying to fill the role of Roy McFarland, hasn't played the last 2 matches because of a hyperextended knee. And so Hancock, that's a tall assignment to fill the bill for a guy averaging close to 3 kills per set in McFarland.
It really is. He hasn't had as much experience, obviously, but Coach Mclaughlin said he's doing a nice job filling in. We were just hoping that one extra day might give us enough time for Roy McFarland to be better and help contribute. McFarland, one of the seniors out of Manhattan Beach, California.
Backside set. It's Olivier off the block and into the antenna. So another point for Long Beach State.
Spencer Olivier had a fantastic night. Again, we've talked about him plenty last night. There you see his numbers against UC Santa Barbara.
It's a good serve. Backside set, DeWeese over the double block, down the line. It goes wide, no touch up front. And so another point for the Beach. And UC Santa Barbara, Lisa, hitting negative 556 in this first frame.
Uncharacteristic of this group. They're a little razzled. They have not found any system right now that's really working. A lot of unforced errors for UC Santa Barbara.
Scrambling again. DeWeese from off the net. Block got a good chunk there. So the Beach on the attack. They go backside. Godbold tried to touch it over, was blocked back. So now the Gauchos coming back the other way. Wilcox, heavy-handed, and gets it down.
And there you see the quicker system that Casey McGarry likes to run. He pushes it out real quick to Wilcox. He tries to beat the block. He gets a one-on-one isolation set, and Wilcox plummets it through.
And that serve by Donovan Todorov goes into the net. And it just looks like UC Santa Barbara having a hard time getting the engine running right now.
Yeah, and this is where the real challenge begins. Can they right the ship? Can they pull the reins in a little tighter and clean things up and lessen the unforced errors?
Bump set goes to the middle. It's wiped across by Keenan Sanders, but the overpass results in another Wilcox kaboom.
He's wiry and he's quick and he's definitely a great athlete. Debbie and his mom, Debbie and Keone, watching, I am sure, at home, his dad.
Six serving 14, DeWeese. It's a 68-mile-an-hour serve. Back row set Olivier, diving one-hand save in the back row. Well done there. DeWeese is dug up as well. Here's Siegfried, roll shot off the fingertips of the block. And the set behind the setter goes to Sanders, rattled around on the Long Beach side. Olivier gets the swing. Long run there for the libero Pexock, and he's not going to get there. A couple of great saves, though, earlier in that sequence by Henry Hancock along that back line.
And that's what UCSB is noted for, their defense. They are leading the Big West in digs. They tend to just keep rallies going, and again, keys to the game, they just fight.
It's an onslaught here early, 15 serving 6. Middle set, good swing there for Sanders, but can't get it down. Rattled around, though, so it was put over by the setter, Aiden Knight, and that allowed UCSB to run its transition, and Wilcox gets another kill to his stat line. He has 3 to lead the Gauchos.
And I'll tell you, that play by Mason Briggs was pretty phenomenal on Long Beach. The libero, the 6-foot freshman out of Valencia, California, he just covers a lot of court.
Had 10 digs last night against Irvine, and Wilcox got under that one a little bit.
Just a little, and as Charlie Wade would say, 4?
Yeah, almost one of those Chris Mclaughlin touch-em-alls.
Yeah. Again, I think UCSB just has a lot of energy. They've got so much invested in getting out here, getting that bye, watching film. They've just got to settle in.
Middle set, wow. That was beautiful to Keenan Sanders. Casey McGarry with the assist there, and his head coach calls him the best setter in the country, and it's hard to argue with some of the numbers and what he's able to do out there.
A senior and only 6 feet, and he does run a great offense. Casey McGarry doing a nice job. First team Big West this year and first team All-American in 2020.
Kind of interesting, actually split time at the setter position. First couple of years with Randy DeWeese before taking over the full-time setter position. DeWeese, who split time between setter and opposite, took over the full-time opposite position. And now they're both All-Americans at their respective spots. You
gotta love the athleticism on both parts, you know. DeWeese playing a setter for a few years and then coming out and playing opposite and leading his team in kills after all of that.
Olivier with that last kill for Long Beach State, up 17-8. And another good setup in the middle from the setter McGarry. That is Todorov, the 6'6 freshman from San Diego, able to find the floor.
Defensive Player of the Week earlier in the season.
And that serve goes out. So Santa Barbara not helping its own cause from the service line just yet. It looks as though they're still trying to get settled here in the early goings.
Yeah, definitely a little bit too many unforced errors for Santa Barbara.
Here's Todorov again, and able to just get enough on it to get the touch and the point.
And what they are doing well is they're setting the middle. They're settling down on that first ball contact. It's just keeping the serve in and keeping the hitting errors minimizing the hitting errors.
And here is Roy McFarland coming in as a serving specialist in this situation. This is a guy who had 15 kills, led his team in that win against Long Beach State earlier in the season. So not having him at his full capacity certainly does not help the cause, but here he is from the service line floating it over. And the middle set hold away, popped up nicely by Pexock. DeWeese, big swing off the block. It'll be played on the Gaucho side. Back to DeWeese again. And the block hadn't quite formed, and he took advantage.
Casey McGarry knowing exactly where DeWeese is on the court. Going to keep going to his gun, if you will, hitting high down that line. Siegfried a little frustrated with himself.
It's out. All the way back to the middle.
Again, Mclaughlin hadn't played the last 2 matches because of that hyperextended knee. Serves it just over the tape. And then it is rocked by Clark Godbold, the freshman from San Pedro, California. This is a guy who volleyballmag.com called the top recruit in the country in 2020.
Yeah, and you can see why he had 9 kills last night and was named to the All Big West freshman team. And is still a candidate for Big West Freshman of the Year.
Oh, that's for sure. Here's Wilcox. Tries to touch it by the triple block, nothing doing. Gets another stab at it. Dunks it down the line and in. We've seen that, and perhaps the officials allowing some liberal interpretations of the rule at times, but still a nifty play there by Wilcox.
Sometimes I think there's a little bit too long of a hold on there, you know, hang and hold and throw. But, you know, it is a very judgmental call, and we haven't seen any of them called so far in this tournament.
12 serving 19. That one sails long. That is the 5th service error for UCSB.
Definitely not helping their cause. It's just a free point when you serve over and long.
Simon Torwi into the match and back to serve. 6'10" freshman out of Spain. Big West Conference all-freshman team selection. It's a good-looking serve there. 62 miles an hour. To the outside pin it goes. Wilcox was running out of room. It was just a little too tight to the twine. And so he came into the net. Net violation called against the Gauchos. And they trail by 9 here. Long Beach closing in on this opening frame.
Ryan Wilcox is listed at 6'2", and, you know, he's got a great vertical, but when he's got to go up against a huge block such as Long Beach State's right now, it's a tough one.
Backside Deweese, and Ethan Siegfried got out there in time for the solo stuff.
And talking about size, Ethan Siegfried listed at 6'1", the senior getting the most out of his vertical, a solo one-on-one. No, you don't. Not down the line and not over me.
22 serving 12. A double-digit advantage. Overpass. Simone Anderson couldn't get it down. Great up there by Mclaughlin. Wilcox through the block, punched up by Siegfried. Pinballed around. How about Olivier getting a legit swing off of the one-handed pass? And he gets another Long Beach point. They've scored 4 straight. They're up by 11. Gauchos signal for a timeout. All Beach in the first frame. Let's check out the First Hawaiian Bank top 3 Big West Conference digs per set. And we got Mason Briggs of Long Beach State leading the way, 2.56 digs per set. How about Casey McGarry? He is the setter for UCSB, and he is number 3, along with Gage Worsley right in front of him. So he's in a class of liberos in the digs per set department.
And that's a win-win for Casey McGarry, because, you know, he's up there in the assists as well. So yeah, he's double dipping, if you will.
Averaging over 11 assists per set. Prepped at Loyola High School, vaunted prep volleyball program. Michael Boley leading that program.
And Michael Boley, if people remember UC Santa Barbara, his son Hayden Boley played as a libero as well for UC Santa Barbara and was one of the best liberos coming out of UC Santa Barbara.
So Santa Barbara trailing by 10. This now becomes almost more about them trying to find something that can maybe light the flame going into set 2, right?
They've got to push for a little bit of momentum change to their side of the court. I think they're playing very, they're tight. They're not loose. They're not in system at all. They're making unforced errors. It's very uncharacteristic of them. And Long Beach is just smooth. They picked up right where they left off last night.
Long Beach hitting 667 after that put down by Simone Anderson. They have yet to commit a hitting error, force the overpass on Aloha ball in set 1. Olivier rocks it, but it's dug up over the net. They go back to Godbold. That's popped up. off of the dig by Pexock. Actually hits the scoreboard above. Wilcox hit, pinballed around. Olivier's going to swing from the back line just about and hits it into the twine. You got to love the chutzpah there. He's just trying to crack it every time. Every
time out, he's going to take a full swing on the ball. That's his first hitting error in 8 attempts. He's hitting at 500 this evening.
And first hitting error for the team. Another broadcaster jinx moment. You're welcome.
Let's hope.
That may have been an out ball played by DeWeese. It was pretty close, though, and the middle set is lit up by Keenan Sanders.
And Sanders doing a great job in the middle, getting up early. 2 kills on 4 attempts. Still in the negative. Excuse me, 2 kills on 5 attempts. Hitting at 400.
So here's Wilcox. Taps the tape. Still set point here for the Beach. Siegfried off the fingertips. 2-hand save, Pexock. Here's DeWeese from the back row. Gets it down. So UC Santa Barbara with some consecutive scoring here and maybe finding a little momentum perhaps to take into set 2.
And if they're going to get momentum, it's definitely going to be behind the serve of Ryan Wilcox.
Still trailing by 8, though, here, and it is still aloha ball, as we like to say here in the first. Siegfried off the block and out, and that does it in the opening frame. Long Beach State drawing a line in the sand as they make a statement with a 25-16 set 1 win. Look at Poipu Bay on the island of Kauai. Just a simply gorgeous vista. And this has been a highlight of some of our coverage here this week, some of the scenics from around the islands. While you're watching the broadcast, also follow Hawaii Athletics Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook pages to join fun contests and win great prizes. Well, Long Beach State, again, we talked about it throughout that sweep last night of Irvine. They just seem to have a certain edge about them. They arrived in Honolulu on a mission. They have yet to lose a set here in the islands in this tournament, and Spencer Olivier, as usual, leading the way.
Been in the program for 4 years now, the redshirt sophomore, doing a phenomenal job picking up where he left off last night. Extremely humble young man. He credits to the setting and to the passing. He really doesn't take much credit for himself. He says, our first contact's been so great, and the middles are holding people for me, and I'm just swinging away.
On the other side, Ryan Wilcox, the Punahou alum, 4 kills on 10 swings, hitting 100. And that matches the Gauchos' output in that regard as a team. They hit 100 as a squad in that first frame.
I think he surprised a lot of people, maybe even himself, being the newcomer of the year last year at the ABCA. That's in all of Division I volleyball, as well as the Big West Freshman Player of the Year. Ryan Wilcox, not only in his hitting percentage does great things, but his number one thing, I think, is his passing and his defense. He does a great job. 6 rotation player, really contributing a lot to the Gauchos.
Yeah, you mentioned Wilcox and Siegfried, the Punahou alum, on the other side. Graduating in separate years, right? They are a few years apart, but part of that fantastic Punahou tradition under Rick Toon. Siegfried won 3 state titles. Wilcox won 4. That's a pretty fun prep career, I'd say.
Yeah, you think? I mean, winning becomes, a habit. And so winners breed that. You just start almost expecting to win. Both of them playing for highly successful programs.
And as an Iolani alum, always a difficult thing to celebrate is the complete and utter success of Punahou across the board.
Hey, they've earned it.
You're right. What are you going to do? You just have to bow in the presence of greatness sometimes.
Sometimes you do. There's other areas of where they bow to Iolani as well, I'm sure.
Set 2 underway. Hold away with the serve. Outside is DeWeese, blocked and roofed. That was Godbold next to Anderson, and Long Beach State is locked in, really in all phases.
They really are. At 6'5" and 6'8", that is a solid block up at the net. Here are great view of that block. Hard to hit through it. Maybe you might want to go around it.
5.5 total team blocks for the Beach already in this match. Middle set. That one is swiped at by Todorov. It'll be played back. Godbold, 3 blockers against him. 2-hand save along the back line by Wilcox. He gets the set in the back row, and he serves up a facial on Shane Holdaway.
Wilcox just got a hold of that ball, and Holdaway was standing there really not expecting him to drill that ball down the line here on the replay. He just takes one right in the lower jaw.
That was on the button. And that can be pretty scary with the velo that we see from these hitters. One-hand back set. Godbold touches it over. So UCSB plays it back. Todorov is dug up. It goes out. And the Gauchos in front.
Todorov getting up nice and quick for that. He's only played in 11 matches though this far, but his hitting percentage is pretty high at .482.
This is the first lead of the match for UCSB. Middle set, Simone Anderson. Good dig there by Ryan Pecksock. Wilcox blocked back, the cover by McGarry. So Pecksock sets up Wilcox, and the save there by Siegfried. Godbold with the swing, punches it long. And UC Santa Barbara fired up on their side of the net.
UC Santa Barbara, you can see they're coming together a little bit more smooth here.
And Roy Mclaughlin once again getting ready to serve. 3 serving 1. High ball set goes to Siegfried. 3 blockers up, and he finds that deep corner. I mean, they had everybody trying to close the door on him, and he was still able to put a little finesse on it, just enough to get the in call.
Incredibly proficient on that ball with 3 blockers up, going up, over, and as far into that deep corner as possible.
He's been awfully good, starting his 7th straight match, and it really was the trip out here to the islands that kind of turned the season around for Siegfried, if you will. A rare instance of miscommunication on the side of Long Beach State. A little campfire play there, and the point goes to the Gauchos. But getting back to Siegfried, came out to Hawaii, had a magnificent 19-kill, hitting .708 match against the Rainbow Warriors, and since then he's been more or less on a tear.
He really has, and he talks about coming home and the joy of playing here in the Simplify Arena at Stan Sheriff, how much he really likes it, although he wishes that more people were rooting for him. He was always, as a young athlete growing up, rooting for UH men's volleyball, and then he went away and became the player that everybody was rooting against. Yeah, and from the Hawaii fan perspective, you're wearing that beach across the chest. Unfortunately, you're going to feel the wrath, I think, from the fans. But that is also a testament to just how darn good this Long Beach State program is. Right. He's also got a national championship under his belt as well. So outserve gives UC Santa Barbara the 5-3 advantage here in set 2. DeWeese. That one clocks in at 67 miles an hour, and then the perfect setup to Simone Anderson. Once again, Aiden Knipe starting at setter for the Beach. He is the coach's son, the redshirt freshman out of Huntington Beach. The pass was on the money. That was something that was a constant last night against the Anteaters. But Aiden Knipe's return, according to head coach Alan Knipe, just allows them to do a few things that they were a little more used to throughout the preparation to the season and early on in the year, although he makes sure to go out of his way to suggest just how admirable the job by Ryan Poole was, a guy who wasn't necessarily playing his primary position at setter, filling in for the injured Knipe, who's been dealing with an ankle issue. But Poole still allowing this team to kind of go through the season in the same sort of pattern and rhythm. They didn't necessarily miss a beat, so to speak, as Siegfried hammers that one for another point. You're right, and he talked about how Ryan Poole came in just for 4 weeks and ran the offense. He's not a setter, he's an outside hitter. He came in and he actually ran the offense while Aiden Knipe was out with an ankle injury. But Aiden Knipe is back in the lineup, obviously. I still don't think he's completely 100%. He's definitely favoring that ankle just a little. And how about Mclaughlin taking a swing from the outside, wearing the brace on his right knee, and
when we were watching him in warm-ups, looked like he was favoring it. Those knee braces are designed to disallow you from being able to straighten your leg completely so as not to once again hyperextend it. But he looked all right on that jump, and it looks like Rick McLaughlin's going to keep going with him in that front row.
Well, he likes his team, his starting lineup together, and I'm sure he feels what Roy McFarland brings as a senior is a lot of leadership and experience, comfort to the team.
He says he's our captain. He is such an important piece. And so, yeah, sometimes even just the presence of somebody like that out on the floor can give your squad a boost. And right now it's UCSB up 3 in the second, 8 serving 5. Keenan Sanders, the float serve. Olivier blasts it off the hands and out.
And Olivier continues just to find a way to manipulate and move that ball for kills. It's a great set by Knipe, directly to the hitting shoulder, and he powers it through.
Olivier to serve. Pass by Pexock. And it's DeWeese from behind the line. Good up there by Mason Briggs. High ball set to Siegfried, rolls it over the block. Chance here for the Gauchos. They go back row to Wilcox. It's blocked back. Wilcox will slap it over. And now the Beach with the advantage. Outside, Siegfried tried to cut it thin the other way, and he missed the court wide.
Pexock played an incredible part of that last rally. Some unbelievable defense by him.
Good cover, too, on what was a block in the midst of all of that by Long Beach State. So 9 serving 6. And Gary with a tough serve. Long Beach State out of system, and the Gauchos take advantage. They go backside. DeWeese rolls it over a triple block, dug up by Knipe. So the set goes to Siegfried, tight to the pin, has to just touch it across. Bump set by Todorov, and DeWeese goes through the 3 blockers and down. Go figure.
Well, DeWeese with absolutely zero approach on the ball, just swinging high for hands. That shows his experience and his knowledge of the game, even though this young man did not play high school volleyball, which is kind of amazing because all these players normally do. He played some club volleyball, but wow, what a great effort.
Yeah, only played for Northern California Volleyball Club. You're right, no prep volleyball on his resume. Godbold, and that got touched.
Godbold with his second kill. Hitting at 0 right now. He's got 2 kills, 2 errors, and 8 attempts.
Shane Holdaway out of Huntington Beach High School back there to serve. McFarland cross court. It's dug up by Knipe. So Olivier sets up Siegfried, and he is denied access. Todorov having a good run through that front row. He had the assist to DeWeese moments ago. Right there, he's in the middle of that roof.
3 blockers up, and his energy alone coming off that block is going to help his team. Only a freshman.
Backside, Godbold trying to crank it through the block. But the Gauchos coming back the other way. It's DeWeese. Good up there by Briggs. Back row set. Olivier smothered by another triple block. I think DeWeese may have gotten the most of that one, but it was Todorov again in the middle with Wilcox on the other side.
And UC Santa Barbara definitely creating some energy and putting a little bit more pressure on Long Beach State's offense.
And all of a sudden, yeah, it's UC Santa Barbara's block starting to make some noise. 12 serving 7. Outside, Siegfried winds up, uncoils, and unleashes.
It's amazing how he chiseled that ball around the block of the Gauchos. I think that might have hit the 4-foot line in the left front.
So he and Olivier tied for the team lead, 6 kills apiece. Backside, DeWeese. Oh, how about that rattle save on the Beach side of the net, and then it's touched over by Anderson. A heads-up, ad-lib type play on all fronts.
Some unbelievable scrambling defense. Mason Briggs on that play as well. Just never say die attitude, playing every ball up.
Yeah, just don't let it touch the floor. That was the mentality. Here is Godbold. Outside, Wilcox just annihilates that one.
Yeah, that was amazing. A commanding bomb, if you will, right down the line. Wilcox with his 6th kill on the evening.
Yeah, that was Godbold in position, but more victimized than anything else with that heavy heat. Todorov with the serve for the Gauchos. Godbold chance at a little vengeance, and he gets it.
Sometimes that jump float allows the opposing team, especially Long Beach, to have a nice, easy pass. They can run their offense there.
There's a lot of talent on the floor right now, isn't there?
There sure is. It's crazy how much in this short, limited season, how good these teams are.
66-mile-an-hour serve off the palm of Siegfried, and that is an ace.
It kind of makes you wonder if that may have been out. It was going so fast, it looked like they swung for just a little touch on that ball.
Does he bring the heater again? Took a little something off that time. Outside Wilcox. Blocked back. Back to Wilcox. One hand save Siegfried. Very nifty one there. Olivier from behind the line was drifting backwards, and he sends it long.
Got a little bit under it, but there you see Siegfried give him a little high five. It's okay. Keep swinging, buddy. Some great defense again by both sides. Not only blocking defense, but just digs around huge blocks.
UCSB, which had a program record 4 players named to the Big West Conference first team. There's Godbold. That one is popped long. Was there a touch? No touch. Point for UC Santa Barbara. They get to 15 first. Timeout on the floor. Here's a look at the eastern coast of the island of Oahu. See some of the rock formations there along the edges of the water. Taking you on a tour here of the Hawaiian Islands thanks to the Hawaii Tourism Authority. Of course, the presenting sponsor of this tournament through 2023. Well, on Monday, it's a double dose of OIA boys volleyball. Catch Kailua versus Castle at 6:15 p.m. on Spectrum OC16, and Kalani versus Kalaheo at 6:30 p.m. on Spectrum XCast. Well, UC Santa Barbara has turned things around a little bit in this second set. They lead 15-11. They're hitting 300. Meanwhile, holding Long Beach State to .087. How have they done it?
They have done it by blocking and putting a lot of pressure from the service line on Long Beach State right now.
And tickled the tape out of the timeout. Anderson getting a good swing at it. How about the chase down save by the libero Pexock? And we play on. Anderson again, dug up by Deweese. Wilcox on 2. What a heady play.
And that's Gaucho volleyball at its finest. Again, they are going to scramble and they are going to grind it out no matter what they do. They're going to come up with balls. Wilcox, you got to love the over on 2. Great opportunity to swing and catch the opponent off guard.
Deweese, and 66 miles an hour goes long. Yeah, Coach Mclaughlin mentioning that he feels like this team gives them a similar vibe to what was one of their magical squads back in 2011, where they finished as the national runner-up, lost to Ohio State in the national championship match that year. They won the MPSF tournament title. A lot of people didn't necessarily see that coming, but they featured a dynamic setter in Vince Devaney, who also, by the way, worked with Casey McGarry a little bit in the past. He says, we grinded out games, didn't block a ton of balls, very similar to what they do statistically here this year. He said, but we dug up a lot of balls, we played hard-nosed defense, and we just hung in there. And he really gives credit to the quality of the character of the guys he has on this squad.
He says it's very similar to that team, exactly, Kano, and they really were the Cinderella team. They came in and nobody really expected them to do much, and they just continued to grind it out, and they lost a heartbreaker that year. They were just right there. They had everybody rooting for them.
Well, that was a nasty service ace, courtesy Ryan Wilcox, and another timeout by the beach. Coming up on Everything Hawaii, adventurer Kavika Singson captures whale songs while diving through a bait ball in Kailua Bay. Got to check that out Sunday night at 8:30 exclusively on Spectrum OC 16. Iao Needle in Iao Valley on the island of Maui. Well, speaking of some homegrown action, how about Ryan Wilcox, the Punahou alum? He's been awfully good. 8 kills, hitting .250. And a couple of, you could say, violent swings at that.
He's definitely pacing his team right now with 8 kills, hitting at .250. 1 service ace, a couple of digs. Welcome home, huh?
Yeah. Ryan Poole into the match here for Long Beach State. It looks as though he will take on the setting responsibilities at the moment as Wilcox out of the timeout sends it long.
And you know, that's just the cardinal sin, and he knows it. He's shaking his head. After a timeout, just keep it in. Do not allow the other team to take the wind out of your sails.
Simon Torwi now. Born in Spain but moved to Frankfurt, Germany as a teenager. Tickles the tape on the serve. Backside DeWeese. Be up by Siegfried. Long chase down for Briggs, but he's able to get there. Free ball coming back over the net for the Gauchos. And the touch over on 2 by Casey McGarry. Busted that out at the perfect time. I mean, nobody was in the middle of the floor.
And you know, Casey McGarry doing jump setting almost the entire night. He jumps, nobody, all 3 defenders, the blockers were right there straight up in front of him. Not one of them recognized, or what we would say, honored him in the front court player, as a front court player. Trust me when I say they will. They'll start figuring out he's in the front court right now, so he can jump and dunk.
Keenan Sanders on the serve. One of those 4 all Big West first teamers. Second time for him. Set going outside. Mclaughlin. And a little bit of a complaint there for Long Beach State. They're going to say that that hit did not get over the twine, and ultimately the correct call is made. Bert Fuller is the R1 here for this match. On top of the ladder, Jesse Martinez down on the floor as the R2. Let's take a look at that. And yeah, Long Beach State on their side made the correct call, ultimately waiting for the whistle. Line judges, Randy Rubinall, Mark Nakashima, Mel Cayetano, and John Park. Here's McFarland. Able to get by the block, but be up there by Mason Briggs. Siegfried, the over-the-shoulder roll shot. Back to McFarland, blocked. He's able to save it himself. Now backside DeWeese. How about the dig there by Mason Briggs? Siegfried, 3 blockers against him. Layout save there by Pexock. McFarland just soft touches it over. Chance here for the beach. Siegfried down the line. And out.
That was a great rally on both sides. Channel blocking by both teams and some unbelievable defense. Siegfried trying to go, just misses long on that.
These liberos are working. 7 digs for Ryan Pexock on the UCSB side. That's matched by the 7 digs of Mason Briggs. Knight back in at setter, sets up Siegfried by the triple block. The save by Wilcox, gets it in the back row. Dink shot, drops.
And you gotta love that play. Ryan Wilcox sitting middle back in the deep position, digs it, overhand dig, and then immediately drives towards the setter for the big. And he's got 3 blockers on him, and he takes a strong approach to the ball and just dinks it. Everybody's on their heels.
So a timeout called by Long Beach State. Now, perhaps not quite the separation that we saw on the scoreboard in favor of the Beach in set 1, but this is a pretty significant flipping of the script from set 1 to set 2 here by the Gauchos.
And it just goes to show you how quickly the momentum changes. And I think UC Santa Barbara started off a little shaky. They were not totally, I think they were nervous. They had some energy with them, a lot of unforced errors. And Long Beach came out really quickly and put a lot of pressure on the Gauchos.
Well, a couple of nationally ranked teams doing battle here on the floor at Simplify Arena at Stan Sheriff Center. Take a look at the overall top 15 poll by the AVCA. Hawaii is number 1, still unbeaten at 15-0. BYU in the number 2 spot. There is UC Santa Barbara 3rd. Move down to number 7. That's where Long Beach State is. But obviously some quality teams there and some dangerous teams that are looking to do some damage in the postseason. UC San Diego, the opponent for Hawaii in the nightcap in our semifinal round. They're in at number 14. As you take a look at Charlie Wade, head coach for the Rainbow Warriors, taking in the action.
The staff and the players here watching, scouting. One of the things that was interesting when you saw the teams in the AVCA polls was the amount of games that they've all played. Long Beach State has only played 11 matches this year, and you had some teams playing up to 17, up to 20. So big difference in conferences and how many games and matches have been played.
There's 4 teams out of the Big West Conference in the top 15, all of them in action here on this floor this evening.
Big West, definitely a powerhouse in men's volleyball.
Remember, Long Beach State, they're still technically the defending 2-time national champs. There was no national championship crowned last year. Siegfried sends it long. And so UCSB now up 8. So now it's starting to look a little more like what we saw in set 1.
And Siegfried going for that line shot again, knowing that it's open. I mean, he's got about 12 inches and it's in, but he's just too long.
Gary with the serve, that one registering at 65 on the radar gun, but it goes out.
And Long Beach State now just trying to get some momentum again back on their side, get things running. You see Aiden Knight going around and trying to encourage his players.
High ball outside set to Deweese from McGarry, and the block was waiting for him.
Key to that block was Ethan Siegfried getting over there, 3 blockers up. He came over almost at the last minute and got up on that and sealed the deal.
22 for Santa Barbara, 16 for Long Beach State, and the serve goes out. And so the Gauchos closing in here. Well, this will be interesting because this has the makings for a lengthy match, right? And you have Long Beach State in this building, took Hawaii to 5, lost in 5 at CSUN. UC Santa Barbara just won 5-set match. That was against UC San Diego this season. Later in their regular season schedule, as that one is put down for Long Beach State point.
And I think that's exactly what personally I expected, was a battle between these two. When you look at their seeds, you look at their numbers, the way they line up, both of them have really come out here and they know what's at stake. They've got veteran players, they've got a lot of seniors, they've got All-Americans, Big West players. Of course it's going to be a battle.
Yeah, Alan Knipe said, hey, look, even in the losses in those marathon-like matches, like against Hawaii or CSUN, he said, you still learn a lot about yourself. He says, you learn how to handle duress. You're able to see how players respond under pressure. And so the next time around, maybe they won't feel it quite as heavily. And so that'll be interesting if this thing goes deep into the evening, what kind of response we see from both sides.
Definitely, and he also talked about how you have to really create your own energy here. When there's no fans in the stands and you're here, you got to just own it. You got to take control of everything and be responsible for your side of the net.
Aloha ball here in set 2 for the Gauchos, trying to even things up. Siegfried had to wait on that. Dug up by Wilcox. Middle set goes to Sanders, and it finds its way down to the Terraflex. And how about that? UC Santa Barbara able to flip it around on the scoreboard. They take set 2, and we are even Steven in semifinal number 1. Welcome back. You see the score. We are even on the scoreboard, 25-16. Long Beach in the first, 25-17. Santa Barbara in the second. That's one of your favorite spots right there, huh, Lisa?
That's me right there on that stand-up paddleboard. When we're all done with this Big West Conference, that's where I'm headed.
Keoho Bay on the Big Island. Well, high school baseball is in full swing. Tomorrow it's an ILH doubleheader with Marinol and Pac-5, followed by Kamehameha and St. Louis starting at 3:45 p.m. only on Spectrum OC16. Well, Rick Mclaughlin has to be happy about the way his team responded after really, there's no other way to say it, getting pummeled in that first set, 25-16. They trailed by double figures down the stretch. They were able to put it together in the second, and now all of a sudden this match feels very different.
Very different, and Rick Mclaughlin in his 13th season, just a heads up on him. He's only the second head coach in 40 years of the program. Before him was Kenny Preston, who headed the program there at UC Santa Barbara. But he was the Big West Coach of the Year and the AVCA National Coach of the Year last season in 2020 before the season abruptly ended.
Yeah, it's funny, all these coaches, because of these annual trips out to the islands, they also have their favorite local eatery joints, right? It would be David Niffin for Irvine always would check out Leonard's Bakery, get some malasadas. I'm not sure if he was able to make that trip to pick up some malasadas. I'm sure he carved out some time to do so. They were here for a week, for goodness sake.
Let's hope so, yeah.
But Rick Mclaughlin says he loves Grace's Plate Lunch. Who doesn't?
That's been around for so many years, and I'm sure that having a local boy on the team has also helped them figure out where to go and what to eat as well.
That's a really good point. How about Mcfarland continuing to run through the front row out there? There was some concern as to whether or not he'd be available here tonight. We saw him in the serving position, and we were thinking maybe that would be all we would get from him, but in that second set, Rick Mclaughlin putting him into the front row, and he responded favorably, and so here he is continuing to do damage in set number 3.
Yeah, he's just so stable for their team. You know, an interesting thing about him, his dad Dana played Pro Beach back in 80 through 88, so he has some genes there as well in the volleyball genetic world.
Spencer Olivier getting Long Beach State on the board here in the third.
Olivier with his 7th kill on the evening. Notice that the Gauchos have really been trying to serve Olivier in this match.
Outside, DeWeese blocked back, goes off of the shoulder of McGarry. So the set from Mcfarland to DeWeese, and he gets the touch, or did they call it in?
There are some questions there. Alan Knipe questioning the down ref.
Well, they signaled the point for the Gauchos. I think that they called a touch on the floor, and so Alan Knipe is going to challenge this. They didn't think there was a touch. A lot of the players on the beach side of the net reacted that way as well, sort of waving their hands in the air as if to say there was no touch, but we'll see what Jesse Martinez sees with the headset on here in this replay review. Same replay rule that applied during the regular season, 3 on each side. If you win your challenge, you keep that challenge. And then you get an extra one in the 5th if we go that far.
Taking a look here on the replay to see if there was actually a touch. As DeWeese swinging high for hands. And then Ethan Siegfried in the back court opening up and letting that ball go. I'm not sure if that ball was in.
Yeah, the touch, no touch call by virtue of the replay system, probably the toughest one to determine. And yeah, I believe there was a touch call on the floor because that, you're right, that ball looked like it went long, and so that's why, from what we understand, we are looking at the touch. Alan Knipe challenging that there was no touch. But even that was awfully close to that back line.
Very close. 3 blockers up, the set a little bit off the net, giving Deweese some room to work around. One of the leaders on his team. Doing a nice job so far tonight. Well, if he gets a touch, it'll be 6 kills.
All right, so they can look at the in or out as well if the challenge is specific to the touch or no touch. The officials do have the latitude to also make a conclusion on the in or out call.
It's about as close as it gets. Depends on what angle you're looking at.
These are those times you're not very envious of the position these officials are in, having to determine whether or not that cozied up against the line enough.
Especially in playoff time. You know, it's a tough call. Early in the game still yet. Just thank God it's not 26-27, something like that, and down the road.
Well, they're going to call that in. So according to Jesse Martinez in the replay, the ball was in. It's a point for Santa Barbara. Alan Knipe will argue his case, but it is 3-1 Gauchos here early on in the third. And so that is a lost challenge for Alan Knipe, it should be stated. He has 2 left. Backside, Olivier. Oh, he was able to rev up, goes down the line, and got the touch. When he has that kind of approach, right, he gets that whippy arm swing in action. He is awfully tough to stop.
He is. He's really springy, and he goes up and over. He's got a little bit of hang time to him as well. It seems like his arms go down to his ankles almost, you know?
And then he serves up an ace. So back-to-back plays by Spencer Olivier. And we're tied at 3.
And Olivier just doing a great job all around. 6 rotation player. Again, 4th year with the program. He's played often with the U.S. junior national team.
Oh, that one. Barely got the bottom of the net that time.
I guess I could own that jinx.
That's all you.
I'll own that one. That's where the danger comes in when you're serving aggressively from that back court. Dangerous in a sense that you could hit one of your teammates in the back of the head.
Pulled away. 2-hand save there by Todorov. Chased down on the second touch by Mclaughlin. And then put over by Deweese, and it drops.
And Deweese was actually on the ground. He got a little tripped up on that play somehow, and they set him. He got up from the ground. He was on the ground and had to just turn and set the ball over. A little confusion. Those are those broken plays that catches everybody off guard.
As Todorov goes into the twine. Deweese also not shy about making sure the other side of the net knows the play that he made is emphasized.
Got that grizzly bear look. He's like kind of growling through the net, actually. You gotta love it. He's competitive, that's for sure.
Pulled away into the twine. So 6 serving 4 here in the third. A pivotal set 3 between UCSB and Long Beach State. 2 teams that appear to be so evenly matched. It can just go one way or the other from set to set, match to match, however you frame it.
And it's exactly like you just said, Kanoa, the pivotal. Like you might as well be at 0-0 again, because literally it's who wins the next 2 sets. First set, 2 sets, takes the match.
All right, bumped over by Wilcox. Great save earlier by Pecksock. Middle set, Anderson. Another one-hand knuckle save, Pecksock. Deweese, he's going to 2-hand it over again. He's getting used to that move. Now Siegfried winds up, goes over the block and long. Was there a touch? No touch. And a point for the Gauchos. They win a lengthy one.
Gauchos getting a little lucky on that play. They've got broken plays. They're sending free balls over to the beach a couple of times. And Long Beach State just lost the opportunity to score on 2 free balls.
But Deweese still pretty crafty with that. He'll 2-hand it over, but he'll get it just close to the net enough to cause some out-of-sync problems on the other side. Another save there by Pexock, racking up the digs. Hands here for the Beach. Godbold blasts it off the block. Knight back to Godbold, cross court, and too hot to handle for Deweese, even though he was in position.
Godbold swinging away for his 4th kill on the night, but Prescott doing a great job on defense, coming up with numerous balls in that last rally. Only a freshman, the libero for UC Santa Barbara. He also played for Mclaughlin.
Outside, Wilcox through the block, covered there by Godbold. High ball bump set, Siegfried almost backhanded it down. He punched it for the kill.
He definitely bettered the ball on that play. It was not a great set, a little tight. Making something out of not such a pretty set.
And there is some jawing taking place between the two benches here. And that's an ace. How about that one?
That one, you know, whenever there's a let serve like that, I considered it a little lucky. When you hit the tape like that and it trickles down, you catch everybody off guard. It's a really tough one. There you see Casey McGeary, the setter, was actually the closest, but he was running in to get in place and didn't even track that ball.
Yeah, I mean, if you could do that on demand, you would be one of the greatest servers of all time.
You would, but trust me, I don't think people plan on that.
Here's Godbold. Tickled it again. Maybe he is. And then the block is up on Keenan Sanders. Bump set goes to Wilcox. And that was an incredible assist by Roy Mclaughlin. He was facing the Gaucho bench and was still able to bump it into an area where Wilcox could work with it.
Yeah, Mclaughlin, he's just an all-around player, and that's exactly why he's out there on the court. He's got a lot of experience.
Wilcox to serve. It is a nasty one. Second service ace of the match for Ryan Wilcox. Came into this leading the team with 29 on the year.
And he's still leading the team. He's just adding to it right now.
62 miles an hour on the radar gun. Siegfried blocked back. So Briggs takes on the setting responsibility. Siegfried by the triple block. It's dug up by Pexock. Back row set Wilcox, and he gets it through the triple block and down.
And that's the quick tempo offense that the Gauchos have worked so hard on this season and last season. You got to remember, there's 4 seniors returning to the starting lineup, so they have played together for quite some time.
3 straight points here for Santa Barbara. And that one hit long for a Long Beach point. What you can say about UCSB, certainly since that first set, they have won the mass majority of those longer sequences. The longer rallies have gone their way, whether that's good fortune or not.
Well, a little bit of both, I think. They've really dug their heels in, and Long Beach State has made a couple of unforced errors in those longer rallies.
Siegfried, he hits the tape. Backside, Deweese, one blocker against him, and he was able to still drop it in, even though that one got redirected by the top of the net.
And the tape's been bouncing quite a bit from serves to hits. Once it hits the top of that tape, it definitely changes the trajectory and the speed of the ball.
See the numbers for Randy Deweese: 7 kills, 2 blocks, 5 digs. Keenan Sanders about to serve. Played middle blocker and opposite for Scripps Ranch High School. The Falcons. As that one is plugged through the block by Spencer Olivier. He's got 9 kills. He leads the way right now for Long Beach State. 9 serving 11.
And Olivier is just so smooth. I'm very impressed with what we've seen from him throughout these last few matches. He doesn't show a ton of emotion. Again, very humble, but he just continues to produce for his team.
Yeah, that's a really good point. The facial expression does not change. Good times or bad times, even in his post-game press conferences, he just always seems to have that very steady way about him.
He's on task, that's for sure. Very focused. Reminds me a little bit of Micah Christensen, his look. A Obviously, he's not a setter on the U.S. Olympic team, but
I hear what you're saying, though. The disposition is similar. Outside, here's Olivier. Oh, he rose high on that attempt.
Full connection, but that play again made possible by Siegfried with a perfect pass.
And you see some of the antics on the Long Beach State side from the reserve players. They're having a fun time. Hey, look, there's no fans in the arena, so they're just applying some of that fan and spectator energy. That's another Long Beach State point.
They're it. And everybody knows if you go to the Pyramid and play there, that's exactly what their fans do.
That's right.
They bring it.
They will needle you. They will look into your background and yell things about you and your family that you'd be surprised they even know about. As the one-hand set from McGarry goes to Todorov.
And Todorov just staying with it, even on that overpass. A great rescue set by McGarry in the middle. Todorov doing a great job. He's got 7 kills in 9 attempts, hitting at 778 right now.
13 serving 11. Here it comes from Mclaughlin. High ball bump set. Olivier, 3 blockers against him, and he just drives right through it.
No problem. I got a roadblock. Just keep moving right on along.
That's 11 kills now for Spencer Olivier, and a good bump set there from Aiden Knight.
Aiden Knight just putting his players in great opportunities.
Olivier goes into the net on the serve. So about a steady 2-point differential. This is where the margin has been for the most part through this third frame.
And that's what you can kind of expect with it being one set apiece. These teams have settled down. They're both more in system, if you will. You're seeing longer rallies as well.
Oh, they're going to call an interference against Santa Barbara. The overpass there by Siegfried, and it was just too tempting for Keenan Sanders to avoid.
Sanders going up, and he touches it, I believe, first. Aiden Knight trying to do a one-hand rescue set.
Pretty close to the top of the net, though, huh?
Very close, very tight, and again, a judgment call.
Peksock, great pass, middle set Sanders, and he's able to redeem himself immediately. Santa Barbara gets to 15 first, neck and neck here in the third. How about that view of the Ko'olau mountain range on the windward side of the island of Oahu? Keep on driving around the coast and you get to Kualoa Ranch, of course, where they famously filmed the Jurassic Park movies. A lot of beauty to take in these islands. And there's been a lot of great volleyball to take in here so far in this match. UC Santa Barbara up by 2 in the third. We are tied at 1 set apiece, so obviously a major advantage attached to whoever gets this third frame. Long Beach hitting 368 here in the third. Santa Barbara hitting 533.
Yeah, some pretty high numbers for both teams. Long Beach State with 7 blocks.
Long run down there on the set by McGarry. Goes back to Wilcox a second time, and he was able to punch it through.
And you know, with not a great approach to the ball, Long Beach State knowing exactly where that ball was going, but somehow Ryan Wilcox being so crafty, sneaking that ball just in between the blocker's hands.
So a team high 12 kills. In fact, that's currently a match high for Ryan Wilcox on 26 swings, hitting 346. 66-mile-an-hour serve by Deweese. Godbold. That set just not quite on target. Couldn't really get to it. And so a point for the Gauchos' largest lead of this third set. And so a point of concern here for Alan Knight. Signals for a timeout. Long Beach State pushed back against the ropes a bit here in the third. Well, Randy Deweese, as expected, providing some power offensively for UC Santa Barbara He has 7 kills, hitting .042, but he has found ways to positively impact the match and always the irritant to the opposing team through the net. Now, this was the scene in the huddle. Alan Knipe not mixing words, it appeared, with his team trying to get the message across, trailing by 4 here in the third. And when you think about what is riding on this match, you have the legit possibility that either of these teams, if they make it to the championship tomorrow, depending on who wins tomorrow night, I mean, really, regardless of who wins, there'd be a chance that the Big West Conference would send 2 teams to the national tournament, that the loser tomorrow would get the at-large, or one of the at-larges, as Siegfried is dug up. DeWeese off of one leg. Did he get contact with the block? No, he didn't. It didn't get above the tape.
But he's going to question it, and I'll tell you what, he's fiery. He'll probably go over and he'll ask for a challenge, I guarantee you.
So in other words, there is very much not just an appearance in the conference tournament championship match on the line tonight for these 2 teams, but the chance of getting an at-large into the NCAA tournament if they do not win the championship is also on the line.
Exactly. So 7 teams actually go to the NCAA playoff. And the winners of the conferences, which are 5 conferences, they each get an automatic bid, which leaves 2 at-large bids, which the committee votes on. And with Hawaii, with UCSB being ranked number 3 in the nation and Long Beach State being ranked number 7, what I think I hear you saying, Kanoa, is whoever comes out on top here tonight, goes and plays Hawaii, actually has the opportunity to get an at-large bid, assuming Hawaii wins.
Yes, that's if Hawaii were to win. I mean, it would be likely that if they were to upset Hawaii tomorrow, whoever wins this match, that Hawaii would get the at-large. And so, yeah, that is, when you think about it, a lot added to what's on the line here for these 2 teams in this match. It is heavy as far as the stakes are concerned, and we do have a review challenge on that last play.
It truly is, and it makes a lot of common sense to think that in the Big West, one of the at-large bids would potentially be given to a Big West team.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's presumptuous, perhaps.
Yes.
That is purely speculation.
Right.
But at the same time, if one of these teams loses tonight, I mean, you can pretty much write off any opportunity at getting into that national tournament.
Exactly. So again, on the long rally here, we're going to take a look at that one-handed set and see where the ball came off of the block.
All right, so the challenge was not on the DeWeese hit at the end of the sequence. That was a bit of a surprise to us. It is actually on this play here. Rick Mclaughlin challenging that Aiden Knipe came into the net, and you can see the net move after he executes that one-handed set.
As he's coming down. And yes, if your shirt nets, it is considered a net violation.
And so we are getting a challenge from Alan Knipe following that challenge.
Well, here we go again. The Jeopardy music is playing for those of you at home. The crowd's going crazy. The band's playing Hawaii Five-0. Couldn't you see it? You hear it?
Yeah.
Let's bring it back. Makes you wonder if Alan Knipe is questioning now that second call off of DeWeese's hands.
This is interesting. I mean, the chess match off the floor between the two coaching staffs.
And there is so much experience between both of these coaches.
So this challenge, from what we are being transmitted, is a challenge that UC Santa Barbara came into the net on that sequence as well.
And they're coming down Keenan Sanders. You could actually read his lips here, and he says, "I did not net."
Remember, Alan Knipe already has lost a challenge in this match.
That's a tough review, really. Let's take another look again. On that replay, it looks like Aiden Knipe net on his way down.
Yeah, I think that's pretty clear.
On that replay, it doesn't look like the Gauchos net. Maybe it's on this play.
Well, at the end of the day, according to Jesse Martinez, the call stands point UCSB. And so a failed challenge again for Alan Knight. One challenge remaining, unless we were to go to a fifth set, they'd be granted an extra one. But 18 serving 13, and quite the pause in the action there, which may or may not be a good thing from Long Beach State's perspective.
And Long Beach State bench players screaming at their players to get into it and trying to razz the server right now across. They're trying to razz Randy DeWeese from across.
Great serve there by DeWeese. Great pass, though, following it up. And Siegfried tools the block. And the Beach get the point out of that dual replay challenge timeout.
And Ethan Siegfried just being very steady for his team. He's had 27 attempts so far in this match. Hitting at 115 with 8 kills.
So here is Simon Torwey. 14 serving 18. Could have been uphill climb here for the Beach in the third. And he sends it long. And the Gaucho bench letting him hear it. I mean, the battle off of the playing surface has been almost as entertaining at times.
It definitely has.
Santa Barbara by 5. It's Olivier. And DeWeese got a hand on it. Looked like Ryan Wilcox had a beat on that save along the back line.
And Olivier coming out of that back court, hitting the Vic there, 13th kill, and Santa Barbara scrambling. 2 players on it, but could not recover that ball.
There's Siegfried. Putting in quite the effort, as you alluded to. 26 attempts. And that one is put down by Roy Mclaughlin.
And Mclaughlin, again, we talked about him earlier in the broadcast. One of the seniors injured his knee, and Coach Rick Mclaughlin wasn't sure if he'd be able to get on the court, but he was substituted in early in the match.
High school All-American Admira Costa will turn 24 in October. 5th year with the program, so quite the experienced one. Part of why he's so valuable to the fray, as Olivier is denied access. 3 blockers ready, waiting, and willing.
And Olivier just running in a little too early under that ball, recognizing the 3 blockers, but didn't really go all out. That set quite a bit off the net for him.
21 serving 15. Sanders sends it out. I mean, how the Gauchos have turned the tables here after getting boat raced in the first set. And they were able to turn it around found their traction, found their groove. And here they are now on the verge, if they can close this out, of taking a 2-1 advantage as you see Ryan Poole enter into the match to serve. Aiden Knipe still out there on the floor. Outside, Mclaughlin, dug up by Siegfried. Here's Knipe, goes high and away to Olivier. Two-hand save Pecksock. He has been great this evening. DeWeese unable to get it down. Centered by Knipe. And then it is hit over by Ryan Poole. 6'5" sophomore from Enfield, England. Outside hitter, turn setter. There is some of that outside hitting prowess.
He's one of those guys that comes in and does whatever he can, whenever he can for the team. And Coach Alan Knipe says he's just such a good guy. He's all in, always smiling, first in the gym and helping everybody out.
He was the two-time England Junior Beach Volleyball Player of the Year. And you have to respect the fact that he's doing basically whatever is asked of him for this Long Beach State team. And you know, coming into this conference tournament, as a starting setter, there was maybe a level of disappointment that he wasn't going to factor in as much with the return to the starting rotation by Aiden Knipe. But again, given spot duty, whatever is required. Mclaughlin through the block. And Torwey unable to conjure a save.
And Torrey doing a nice job playing defense on that right back. He's getting his hands on a lot of balls. At 6'10", he comes in as a serving specialist and a defensive specialist.
Alan Knipe going to call for a timeout. Long Beach State, which has been very much the standard setter here in college volleyball the last few years. This will be the third Big West Conference tournament we'll see play out. Of course, last year the season cut short before we got to this point. But it was Long Beach State and Hawaii in the first two Big West Conference Tournament championship matches. Long Beach State won the first year in 2018. Hawaii won in 2019. Long Beach State got its vengeance by winning the national championship for the second straight year in 2019. And so they are at risk here. If they drop this set, they are certainly being threatened to have that run of excellence, that near dynasty, if you will, brought to an end, at least for the moment.
And you're absolutely right. And you know, the thing about Coach Alan Knipe is that this is only game 3, and these two teams, when they met earlier, went 4. It went 4 both nights at UCSB and at Long Beach at the Pyramid. But a clean slate tonight here. I predict, I'm not going to even go down that road, but these two teams right now are pretty neck and neck. The spread, it just keeps changing at about 14-all. Somebody takes off and starts doing a little bit better than the other. But they're both fierce competitors, and I don't expect Long Beach State to lie down. No, you're right. You're right. Even if they were to drop this third set, this would be one of the hardest closeouts that UC Santa Barbara would face, I'm sure. Celebrate how local people in various walks of life have responded to COVID-19 with Aloha on the next Outside Hawaii, Sunday night at 6 exclusively on Spectrum OC 16. And when you talk about players being going to be 24 or 5 years in the program or 6 years in the program, the experience alone in a couple extra years in a program is really when they're peaking in their playing years. You got freshmen out here at 17 and 18 years old, and then you got 24-year-olds. That's a big difference in playing years and maturity. So 23 serving 17 out of the timeout. High toss from McGarry. Middle set, hold away, blocked back. Good up there by Briggs. Olivier is able to bounce it in front of Wilcox. Olivier doing, again, another great job just getting around that block and putting it down right in front of Ryan Wilcox. 13 kills for Olivier, hitting .450. Just gaudy. Backside, it's Mclaughlin. Just quick through that double block, and it is set point. Aloha ball in the third for the Gauchos. And Mclaughlin doing a nice job going and beating the block, just a split block. Great set by McGarry.
UCSB hit 100 in the first frame. They're hitting 500 right now here in the third. The kick save by Todorov keeps the sequence alive. Olivier, hard angle, cross court, dug up by Deweese. Deweese gets the swing, goes off the block and out. Point for UC Santa Barbara. And the improv works again. And UCSB has the defending two-time national champs up against the wall here in the semifinal of the Big West Men's Volleyball Championship Tournament. Set 4 coming up. There's a look overhead of the University of Hawaii at Manoa campus. And in that building on the left, Simplify Arena at Stan Sheriff Center, it is UC Santa Barbara with a 2-1 advantage over Long Beach State. This despite the fact that the Beach out-blocking the Gauchos. As we take a look at the Leeward Roofing Roof Report, 7 total team blocks for Long Beach State.
Yes, Long Beach block has been on tonight. Their offense has been on as well, but just not quite as efficient as UC Santa Barbara, who is hitting at 292 right now.
Again, the Leeward Roofing Roof Report. Yeah, UCSB, after hitting 100 in the opening set, they're hitting 292 for the match, but they went for 519 percentage-wise in the third. And so they have Long Beach State threatened here up 2-1. And we'll await to see the response from the Beach as you take a look at Roy Mclaughlin. He has been perhaps a pleasant surprise for UC Santa Barbara fans. There was a lot of doubt as to whether or not he'd be able to play at all in this match. Hadn't played the 2 previous outings, and he has been solid throughout the course of this evening.
Yes, and you know, there we take a look at the knee brace. He hyperextended it a few weeks back, and they weren't unsure of his availability for the match, and they were so happy to get the bye into this semifinal playoff. One of the 4 seniors on the floor. His leadership obviously needed on the team. He got subbed in and seems to be completely holding his own. I'm sure he's not 100%, but he seems to be doing just fine. 5 kills, 1 air, hitting at 364. Those are some good numbers. Yeah,
came in to serve a couple of times in that first set, but since he has been out there as more of a full rotation type of player, he's made a difference. It seems as though there was a bit of an emotional lift that he provided above all else.
Yeah, they talk about team chemistry, and it is such a huge thing with both teams, and Alan Knipe can attest to this as well, because Aiden Knipe was out for quite some time this season, and now that he's back in the lineup, it has smoothed things out for his team as well.
So set 4 underway, and Long Beach State starts off with an out serve off the palm of Shane Holdaway.
I'm talking about kill percentage. Long Beach State in the first set hit at 500, so they were out on a roll early on. Let's see if they can get back some numbers on their offense.
Deweese, how about the layout save there? Mason Briggs. Torwey got it over. Rattled around on the Santa Barbara side. Wilcox dug up. Torwey winds up, and it gets blocked right back into his lap. Todorov. He's been seeing some action in the middle.
Doing a great job. Todorov getting out there. Only a freshman again. Little blocker just sealing the deal, but Torrey coming in for Clark. Godbold on the right, playing in the opposite in this 4th match.
And there's going to be a net violation called against the Gauchos. The ball got down, it looked like, anyway, from Olivier. And it is Torrey to serve. By Texock, outside Wilcox, blasted off the high hands. Godbold will get the high ball set on the outside, over the double block and long. And no touch up front. So you look at Godbold, and 5 kills for him But that is his 5th hitting error on 17 swings.
And my mistake, actually, Simon Torrey's actually in for Ethan Siegfried in this match. Little lineup change.
Here's Torrey. Layout saved by Mclaughlin, beautifully done. DeWeese off of that back cross-court set. Thought he got the touch. No touch called. Point for Long Beach State, but we may see a challenge here because DeWeese is being awfully convincing in front of that Gaucho bench.
So Long Beach State actually moved Clark Godbold over to the left front side and took out Ethan Siegfried and put in the 6'8" junior Simon Torrey, excuse me, the 6'10" on the right. So a little lineup change for Long Beach State.
All right, so here we go again with Jesse Martinez taking a look as to whether or not there was a touch. There was no touch called on the floor.
And all the UCSB players immediately signaled for a touch.
Maybe we'll see something more definitive here from this angle. What do you think, Lisa?
I think it's a great looking block. I can't tell if they've touched it or not. I mean, they're penetrating, they're low, they're tight, they come all the way over. They've sealed low and tight to the net.
That was Godbold jumping with Simone Anderson there.
Really hard to see if there was a touch off of that. Oftentimes, it's the players hearing the touch.
And that one happening on the side right in front of Bert Fuller, the R1. And they're going to call the touch. Jesse Martinez rules that there was a touch. Point for UC Santa Barbara. And so another successful challenge on the Gaucho side. And instead of it being 2 serving 3, it's 4 serving 1 here in a must-win 4th set for Long Beach State. Godbold off the block and out. That was awfully close. You see Mason Briggs, he had a magnifying glass watching that one all the way down to the floor.
And, you know, he has been so steady Eddie in the backcourt for their team. He's all over the place. He's kind of like that silent little leader in the backcourt.
11 digs for Briggs. You have 15 digs for the Gaucho libero, Ryan Pecksock. They have been impeccable. Wilcox tried to dunk it down the line, but nothing doing. Aiden Knipe was able to seal him off at the pass.
I think Wilcox thought that he could go over the smaller, well, slightly smaller Aiden Knipe at 6'3", but don't let Aiden Knipe fool you. His hands are huge, and his jump is pretty good, even with an injury to his ankle that is not 100%.
Middle set, that one hammered by Sanders, but how about Long Beach State playing it back?
That's Godbold in the backcourt.
Wilcox. That will not be played back. He's got 14 kills.
And with Ryan Wilcox, if you give him just a little room off of the net, he sees the court so well. He sees the blocker's hands, and his vision is excellent.
There's 3 losses in Big West Conference play for the Gauchos, 4 losses overall. In fact, all of their losses came at the hands of Long Beach State and Hawaii. 3 times to Hawaii. They played 2 conference matches and 1 non-conference match up on the continent. And then in what was the season opening weekend for Long Beach State, they dropped the 2nd match at the Pyramid.
Olivier banging away, still leading his team, and all players with 15 kills.
4 serving 5. Pass by Mclaughlin is a good one. Outside Wilcox through the block and down. Godbold couldn't quite that one up.
Godbold playing in that middle back position. The #1 high school recruit in the nation.
Meanwhile, Ryan Wilcox continuing to put in work. 15 kills, hitting .333. He's in some kind of groove. Olivier, 3 blockers against him. And it doesn't matter. Speaking of grooves.
They're just going to continue to battle, and that's exactly what this is. The battle of the 4th. Long Beach State, really, you can feel their energy coming up.
And that one is pumped long by Knight. Yeah, this is, for all intents and purposes, desperation time. Season on the line here for Long Beach State. And this is a proud program that has set the standard for success here in the last 2 national championship seasons.
And this is where Long Beach State can't afford unforced errors. They've got to take care of that first ball like they did last night. They passed excellent.
Middle said, that's hold away. He pumps it long. No touch. And so now a little bit of a separation on the scoreboard. 8 serving 5.
And it's almost like Long Beach State is getting a little bit tight. You know, they're just not playing as freely as they were earlier in this match.
You have a lot more youth and in some spots inexperience on the floor at the moment for Long Beach State. Olivier tried to slice it cross court. He misses wide.
So Long Beach State hitting at 0.91 right now.
Timeout, Allen Knight. Long Beach State in some trouble here. We welcome you back with a beautiful scenic of Makaha over on the western end of the island of Oahu. As we bring you semifinal action of the Outrigger Big West Men's Volleyball Championship presented by the Hawaiian Islands and the top-seeded host Hawaii Rainbow Warriors, #1 in the ABCA poll, awaiting their chance to take the floor against UC San Diego. Right now it is UC Santa Barbara up on Long Beach State, 2-1. They're up by 4 here in this must-win 4th set for Long Beach State. And on the floor for the Beach, you're looking at 4 freshmen and 2 sophomores.
Yes, it's definitely a younger version compared to the Gauchos with 4 seniors on the floor.
Outside, Torwi blocked and roofed. Todorov leading the way.
And he has been pretty spectacular in the middle tonight. Todorov just getting out there, penetrating and celebrating.
But Knight, Briggs, Torwi, and Godbold, freshmen for Long Beach State. You have Shane Holdaway and Spencer Olivier. They are still listed as sophomores. Now, Olivier's been there for 4 years, so you wouldn't put him in the same class technically for sure. As DeWeese gets blocked. But still, it shows a little something about the trust that Allen Knight is putting into this younger group. I think he's also realizing this is the future of Long Beach State volleyball on the floor in many respects right now. And I'm not sure if maybe that's behind some of the thinking of getting these guys some experience with their backs against the wall. Here's DeWeese, dug up by Briggs. Godbold will have to send a free ball over the net. Wilcox from the back row, dropping the hammer.
And that's just a phenomenal set by McGarry. He sees Wilcox with his peripheral vision, and Wilcox is not necessarily even middle back. He's almost coming out of the left back on that. Very hard to read that defensively.
Outside, Godbold, and the net moving all kinds of ways. Looked like DeWeese got tangled up in there.
Godbold swinging away. Coach Allen Knight talking to him, telling him what's available and what's not. Hoping that his lineup change will work. Again, moving Clark Godbold from the right front to primarily that left front position in place of Ethan Siegfried.
Oh, how about that play off of the block by Knight to keep it alive, but only momentarily. So, yeah, it appears as though Allen Knight trying to fortify that block up front, going with the 6'10" Simon Torwey, but Ethan Siegfried, who has been a prominent offensive weapon for Long Beach State, particularly in recent weeks, continues to watch from the bench, as that one just misses long from Roy Mclaughlin.
And he continues to cheer on the bench, too. Everybody over on Long Beach side just encouraging their teammates on.
Heat serving 12. There's Wilcox. Tried to soft touch it over. Gets a second crack at it, and crack it he does. Torwey from behind the line. Got a touch. And a point for Long Beach State. So Simon Torwey responding here in a desperate scenario for Long Beach State.
And Torrey taking a full swing at that out of the backcourt. He made the all-freshman team this year as well. He was down with an injury earlier and is now back full speed, according to Coach Alan Knipe.
Has had some experience with the German national team. Serves that one into the twine, though. And the benches continue to trade jabs, if you will.
They've got to bring the energy.
Well, they're doing that. And then some. Oh, that pass tight to the net. Little joust up there between Knipe and Wilcox. So bump set goes out to Godbold. Touched over by Anderson. Pinballed around Wilcox. Tried to shove it through the block. And then it's pushed over by Godbold. High ball set goes to DeWeese. Blasted off the fingertips. The save there by Mason Briggs. Back row set, Olivier blocked. Sprawl out save by Knipe. Bump set to Godbold. Cross court and in. A much needed put down for Long Beach State.
And Long Beach just laying it all out, celebrating. They talk about defense. Knipe just laying it all out. A great setup by Mason Briggs. When he's in front of that front court line, he cannot use his hands in front of the 3-meter line, so he's bump set that last ball. Looks like there's another challenge. Got the red paddle trying to be handed off. He's like, here, take the paddle.
And it looks like they're going to challenge. Jesse Martinez made a net signal there on the challenge.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Number one, that was a very long rally, so I'm not exactly sure what they're challenging on that play. But we're going to find out here real shortly. And I think both teams are very much welcoming this little break because that was an intense rally.
Again, we still have another semifinal coming your way here on Spectrum Sports. Host Hawaii and UC San Diego. The Tritons winning their first postseason match since they joined the Division II ranks. Of course, they're now Division I, but since they joined Division II back in 2001. So it was reason to celebrate. As you take a look at Godbold, looked like he may have come under the net there.
It definitely looked on his way down that he come under the net or he actually hit the net.
But a great win last night for the Tritons, although they did have to exert some energy in taking out CSUN in 4. And so we'll see what they have left in the tank going up against a Hawaii team that will be well rested.
And exactly, UC San Diego had a little scare there with CSUN last night, but they made history in their program, winning their first match in a big conference playoff. Huge success for their team.
You see that one going off of the dome of Simone Anderson to keep the sequence going.
There,
right
you see the
there.
net?
That looks pretty convincing, I'd say.
Yeah, I agree. And that, you know what? You're taught as a player to continue to play on no matter what. You wait for that whistle.
Jesse Martinez has been a busy guy here this evening.
Back and forth. And he's about as far away as he can be from that play.
Well, the Gauchos haven't necessarily been perfect throughout this match. But they've been pretty darn perfect when it comes to the replay challenges.
They've been pretty on it, that's for sure.
And it is 14 serving 9. I mean, it didn't look like this in that first set, right? We were talking about Long Beach State, the impressive sweep victory over Irvine last night, and they just had a way about them, a confidence that seemed to be brewing. And they certainly flashed that in the first frame here in this match. We were kind of thinking, uh-oh, Long Beach State has put the game face on, they put their postseason hats on, and they're going to work. But all of a sudden, UC Santa Barbara was able to right the ship, apply some pressure from the service line, case in point right there with the ace by Donovan Todorov, and we started to see a bit of uncharacteristic unraveling by the beach.
Yeah, and very uncharacteristic because they did come in here with a commanding presence. They started out a little rough last night, but they were completely in system, playing great volleyball.
Good swing there by Torwey.
But UCSB, you know, they do. You were talking about earlier, Kano, they've got a lot of veterans on their squad, a lot of experience, a lot of trust in one another as they continue to play on.
10 serving 15, and Godbold sends it long. Well, you think about Long Beach State and this roster composition, 4 seniors, 2 juniors. They have 4 sophomores and a couple of headliners at that, particularly Spencer Olivier. Shane Holdaway, also a sophomore. And then they have this freshman class of 8. They also have 3 red shirts, by the way. But a freshman class of 8. And so you figure this is going to be a headache for the rest of the Big West Conference, dealing with the underclassmen as they maneuver through their upcoming Long Beach State careers.
For years, that's for sure. They have rebuilt their program. And Alan Knipe has been known for years to redshirt numerous of his players and try to build them through USA Volleyball and whatnot, get them a ton of experience before he gets them out on the court.
That's kind of how it was, right, with the group that included TJ DeFalco and Josh Tuaninga and Kyle Ensing. I mean, they came up through the program together. They quite literally grew up together. And the payoff was that they were the dominant team for several years. And
it's so true. I mean, you look at the teams that have had a lot of its success. The players have been together a little bit longer.
Olivier, that was some hard heat. Spencer Olivier has been a bright spot, that's for sure.
He continues on, and you'd never know that he just imploded that ball with his 16th kill on the evening. Again, not a lot of expression from this young player. On task, very businesslike.
Yeah, actually, we'll give him 17 kills. He's hitting .429. Long Beach State as a team is hitting .198 for the match. They're .080 here in this 4th set. And how about the slide to Keenan Sanders?
And how about the Casey McGeary backhanded one-hand set? Saw the blocker up in front of him. Saw Holdaway in front of him and decided to set back.
Now Wilcox. His serve has just been gnarly. 3rd service ace of the match. UCSB is opening it up here in the 4th. Timeout, Long Beach State. Well, that scenery is from the island of Kauai. This has been one of the fun aspects of these broadcasts, bringing you some of these images from throughout the incredible Hawaiian Islands. Well, there you see the scenario. Long Beach State, you don't often see this program in this position, at least not in recent memory, that's for sure. Alan Knipe, who has been part of all of the Long Beach State national championships back in 1991 as a member of the team. And then, of course, coaching the Beach to the 2018 and 2019 national titles. But they have quite the uphill climb here, trailing by 8, backed against the wall. trailing 2-1 in this semifinal, and Deweese gets it down.
And again, the Gauchos defense just pinging balls up. They're very disciplined on their defense. They get to their home base, sit down, and bring balls up, and then play some great transition defense.
And the Gauchos starting to feel it, Lisa. 20 serving 11. Wilcox, another BB. And how about another kill for Spencer Olivier?
And he's got an incredibly bright future as well.
Yeah, where do you think his ceiling lies?
Well, golly, I mean, he's at this age, a redshirt sophomore. He's, you know, he's on the benchmarks for being an All-American, of course, and so many of these players want to go and play internationally, as well as with the U.S. national team. I'm sure he's one of them.
Yeah, Keenan Sanders with the hammer there.
But in the meantime, they're in college getting their careers and their educations as well. You know, sometimes we forget about that. We forget that they're college students in a COVID year, shortened season. They got a lot of other things going on as well.
21 serving 12. Outside. And some extra sriracha on that one from Ryan Poole. Poole looking more at home in his natural outside hitter position. I mean, he obviously has some skill at the setter spot, but looked like he was unleashing some fury a couple of swings here in this one.
I think he's just taken every opportunity he's ever had to be on the court and making it better.
And here's Ethan Siegfried back into the match and behind the line to serve. Into the net it goes. He was going for it there.
He was, and that was a tough one. You know, he was in this match earlier just playing phenomenal, especially from the service line. Maybe a little cold getting out of the game and then being called on, you know, later on in this match. Going for it. You got to give him credit for going for it.
Gary on the serve. Beach out of system, and they are forced to send a free ball over the net. Gauchos backside, Deweese. And it goes long. Well, that was about as golden an opportunity for Randy Deweese as he has received all night long, and ironically, he's unable to cash in.
I think he owes Casey McGeary an apology on that one. It's like, nobody up. That's when it usually happens too, right? You got nobody on you, you're swinging away.
Shane Holdaway. There's Mclaughlin blocked. The up by Wilcox, chased down by Pexock. And we play on in this rally. Outside, Poole. He's stuffed. Roy Mclaughlin, the guy who was an uncertainty coming into this match.
And the scramble is just amazing. The scramble and follow. Deweese getting that over off of the scramble. And the solo block by Mclaughlin.
I mean, the kinds of effort plays that help to punch a ticket to a conference tournament championship. Back row at Siegfried. Played off the block by McGarry. So it's Pexock who sets up Deweese by the triple block. Net violation against the Beach. And here we go. Aloha ball for the match for UC Santa Barbara. Largest lead of this fourth set. Mclaughlin floats it over. Godbold will get it set on the outside. And we're not done yet as he's able to deliver. But it will remain Aloha ball.
Godbold swinging away.
Simon Torwey trying to keep Long Beach State's hopes alive here. And he hits it long. And this one is over. UC Santa Barbara advances to the championship match of the Outrigger Big West Men's Volleyball Championship presented by the Hawaiian Islands, and the incredible run for Long Beach State, which was halted in part by COVID last season, thus allowing them to remain the two-time defending champs coming into this postseason, is now done. But you figure only momentarily. But for now, the Gauchos get a chance to celebrate, and they will play for a conference championship tomorrow night against the winner of Hawaii and UC San Diego.
Well, Long Beach State had a great match last night. They started out strong tonight, but the Gauchos just really did come to compete. And they played well. They started a little slow, and they got to business, and they grinded it out.
All right, let's take a look at the Bank of Hawaii players of the match. And on the side of Long Beach State, Spencer Olivier, 18 kills. He hit .448. He was phenomenal throughout. And Ryan Wilcox, the Punahou product, 16 kills, hitting .324. He led the way offensively for UC Santa Barbara. Also a pair of blocks, 3 service aces, and 5 digs. And we have Rick Mclaughlin now on with us.
Hey,
Coach, after your team got boat raced in that first set, how were you able to turn it around and get back on track?
You know, our team is very led by veterans, and it didn't really worry me. I knew that we just weren't playing well. Maybe it was because we didn't play for a long time, and we had to sit in the hotel for about 4 days, and I knew we'd get it going sooner or later, and these guys never let me down. They do it every time.
Well, one of the guys you may have heard us talking about, our player of the match for your squad, Ryan Wilcox, homecoming every time he comes back to the islands, and he delivered. How do you characterize his play tonight?
He's like that all the time, not just when he comes back to the islands, but he is amazing when he makes this trip. He loves being home. We love coming over here, too. His mom and dad took care of us big time and fed all our guys 2 different nights, and Ryan just is, one of the best guys we've ever recruited.
Well, you felt like this was an opportunity for your team to get to this point. You're into the championship match. What does it mean for UC Santa Barbara?
It's good. We want, we weren't at our best early on when we played Hawaii 3 times. I'm sure they weren't at their best either, but they handled us pretty well. They're a really good team. But we're looking forward to getting another shot at it, even on their own home court. It'll tell us where we are and what we need to work on for the next week and a half.
Well, Coach, congratulations on a phenomenal performance. Congratulations on getting to the championship match, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
All right, thanks so much.
As we update our brackets, UCSB, the 2 seed, getting into the final. They'll await the winner of Hawaii and UC San Diego. So far it's been all chalk here in the Big West Men's Volleyball Championship. So if you hold tight here on Spectrum Sports, we'll be back on with Game On, preceding the Hawaii UCSD match. But it is UC Santa Barbara making the headlines and dethroning the 2-time defending national champs. They move on to the final. For Lisa Strand, I'm Kanoa Leahy. We'll talk to you in just a little bit, folks. Stay tuned. But for now, aloha from Manoa.